Welcome to Down the Road with me, Joel Heitkamp. We got a lot of things planned for you today. We're going to visit we're going to NDSU, we're going to the North Dakota Health Department, we're going everywhere, but Lisa Clute is how we're going to begin. Lisa is Executive Officer with the 1st District Health Unit. That means she's one of the smart ones. Lisa, good to have you on Down the Road.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
How many times has media knocked on your door just in the last, 4 or 5 months?
A lot. and not just statewide or local, it's been national. So certainly we have garnered a lot of attention.
Let's let people know what the 1st District Health Unit is. Describe to them where that is.
Well, it is a 7-county district, and we serve Bottineau, Burke, McHenry, McLean, Renville, Sheridan, and Ward counties. We have offices in each of the 7 counties. Our primary office is in Minot, and that's about it. We provide all of the local public health services in those areas. We are governed by a local Board of Health, and so each of the 7 counties appoint members to our Board of Health, and they are the governing body over the 1st District Health Unit.
So, Lisa, how big a staff? I know you said you have someone in each county, but the staff size matters now way more than it used to. And you already, my guess is, were understaffed before this pandemic.
Yes. Currently, we have about 52 regularly employed staff, and then with our contract staff, we have 60 staff throughout the 7 counties. So, yes, we were stretched, and certainly the COVID-19 response has required us to look in all different areas for additional staff, as well as redirecting our current staff over to COVID-19 responses. So what that means is, we've had to take them away from other public health issues and really hone in on the COVID-19 response. They have done a tremendous job. They have been willing to move into areas that they typically don't do, and they are just doing a great job meeting the needs of this public health emergency that we're in.
So are you able to find the additional help you need? Because recently we heard about health officials having to be flown in by the military to kind of pick up the slack of what quite frankly people couldn't keep up the pace of. So in the world that you live in, I mean, you lose 1 or 2, that's got to be huge. Are you able to find the healthcare staff that you need?
We were able to do additional contracts with a couple nurses, which has helped us out, as well as some admin support staff. The phones have been going off the hook, so we dropped down additional 10 lines into a call center that we developed at 1st District, and they are just answering all of the public's questions. We moved most of our health promotion staff over to the school task force. So we are the consultants for all of our local school districts across the region. And we have been providing them 24/7 support, as well as 24/7 support to restaurants, businesses, and so forth, event planners that can contact us, and we can provide them guidance. And of course, the most visible, obviously, is the testing. That takes a tremendous amount of resources. We have a static site. So in other words, any day you can contact 1st District Health Unit and we'll set up an appointment for testing, as well as we're doing the mass testings at MSU twice a week, Bottineau College once a week, and then various mass testings as we need to throughout the district.
Lisa, how scared are people? What you guys are out there on the front lines, seeing them, meeting with them, people of all different ages, quite frankly, this question is meant more in the area of the elderly, which you are the contact in so many ways. I mean, how scared are people?
It truly varies. Some people are extremely nervous about all of this. Of course, long-term care facility and hospital personnel, they are wore out. They're tired. Funeral home directors are wore out and tired. There are people that are very scared. There are also people that don't respect the impacts that COVID-19 is having on our community and population.
Well, Lisa, this isn't going to surprise you, but I want to make sure that the people viewing this show know that just in the last week, for me, I lost a good friend. That's the fourth individual that I know in my life that I know well enough to know their cell phone. That type of friend, and I lost him to COVID. And there's another one that is fighting for his life right now. He's in the hospital. He ran 104 temperature for 2 days, which, in the world that you live in, makes you surprised that he's even still with us. And he's on a ventilator right now. So when you say that some individuals don't take this serious, I just wanted to point that out, that they should. As somebody who's had it and got lucky in the way that I had it, it still has lingering effects, whether people want to believe that or not. I still struggle to breathe and get short of breath at times, and I'm hoping that doesn't last that long. I've spoke to a number of individuals who say it's going to get better, and so I'm hoping for that myself. I want to ask you this. Ward County, that area, it really got the nation's attention. How did we get to the point where that was the epicenter, where everybody was looking at that as an area that a big red flag happened with this pandemic?
Well, first of all, I want to offer my condolences. And these deaths that we have experienced are heartbreaking. I know very few people that can say that they're not impacted by this. The other thing I want to make sure I take the opportunity to say is, we report every day the number recovered. When we say that somebody is recovered, that means that they have gone 14 days and they are no longer contagious. That doesn't mean that they're actually feeling well, that they are on their feet and back to normal. Maybe some are, and that's great. But when we say people are recovered, that truly just means that they are off of the contagious list. So I think the way we got here was very simply, we had a large amount of community spread. When you have community spread at the record that we were indicating, and we were seeing positivity rates in that 25, 26%, those were just those that were being tested. So we knew that community spread was impacting us. When you have community spread at that level, it is virtually impossible to keep them out of long-term care facilities, healthcare facilities, at-risk populations, because those at-risk populations in those long-term care facilities are being cared for and served by people that were out in the community. So we had some significant outbreaks in some long-term care facilities that certainly impacted the number of deaths that we saw. We also have a large elderly population within our area. And so, typically you will see more deaths occur. But, I think the hard thing is that people need to remember this is a novel virus, and we continue to learn something about this virus every day. And we don't know all the answers. We know how to mitigate the spread. And we need in order for us to mitigate the spread and slow down the spread, between 80 and 90% of the population really participating in those efforts. I've seen that increase over the last probably month, few weeks, and I think our numbers are starting to reflect that better participation. But we got there simply because we had a large amount of community spread. We had a large number of asymptomatic people carrying the virus and spreading it throughout the community. And when they aren't participating in social distancing, mask wearing, all of those things that we continually recommend, they have a better opportunity to share that virus.
Yeah, that's a really nice way, because she's a good person of saying, wear your doggone mask, and don't be going home for Christmas and plan on being in a great big group. Lisa, 30 seconds left. If you could convey one thing to all the people viewing, what would it be?
Please practice the mitigation efforts. We are not out of the woods. I know that our numbers are going down right now. We're thrilled with that, but that just means we need to really take this opportunity to slow that spread down. And please practice mask wearing, don't attend large gatherings, everything we've been saying from the get-go.
Lisa, you're so busy right now, and yet you still gave us time here on Down the Road. I thank you for that. I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We're going to have, when we come back, Patty Olinger. Patty is an expert on infectious disease. We're going to talk to her about the NFL and COVID-19. Interesting to get her perspective on when you make decisions on, for example, when you should play and when you shouldn't play. We'll visit with Patty right after this.
Howdy folks, it's the Caroline Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Boston breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at our salad bar, sink your teeth into our famous Caroline burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spoon rattling pie with a comb roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran-owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
Beck Communications is honored to be recently recognized with 3 Broadband Now awards. Beck Communications Cooperative was awarded in the categories of Top Internet Speeds Nationwide, Top 3 Fastest Internet Providers in North Dakota, and North Dakota's #1 fastest fiber provider. It's only through the support of our members and customers that Beck Fiber delivers award-winning speeds and service. Thank you, Beck Communications Cooperative members and customers, for your years of continued support.
Introducing Accord Comfort Sleep Systems, a better way to sleep. We offer you 5 different models to give you the perfect choice of support and body comfort. Every model begins with our exclusive Accord Comfort Reflex Layer. This ensures proper spinal alignment and a deep down body relief. Our 8-inch Whisper Breeze provides a medium firm feel, and our 10-inch Gentle Night model has a quilted top, giving you a medium plush comfort. Both use Outlast fabric on the top of your mattress, ensuring that your body temperature is not too hot and not too cold. Our Copper Rest Sleep Series is our premier mattress, offering your choice of firm, plush, and luxury plush. Every model uses copper-infused gel latex and provides all the health benefits of copper. Accord Comfort mattresses are handcrafted in the USA and come with a 60-night sleep guarantee. You're going to love sleeping with us. Order today exclusively at AccordSleep.com or Tom's Home Furnishings in beautiful downtown Harvey.
Is your business phone system outdated and expensive to maintain? Most large VoIP companies leave you on hold or struggling through online support and training for your employees. With Beck Connect, you always have fast, friendly, local support. Familiar faces with the know-how to keep you connected. Take advantage of the newest technology in voice calling, video conferencing, and virtual meeting rooms. Beck Connect gives you all the features you need with no upfront investment and no obsolete hardware or software ever again. Simplify your communications. Choose local. Choose Beck Connect.
Welcome back to Down the Road. We get a chance now to visit with Patty Olinger. Now, Patty is an expert on infectious diseases. And get this, there's a little tie to the NFL there. We're going to get to it. But she's with Global Biorisk Advisory Council. Patty, good to have you on Down the Road.
Oh, thank you for having me, Joel.
Describe what that group is, a Global Biorisk Advisory Council.
Well, we're a division of ISSA, and ISSA is the world leading trade association for the cleaning industry. And so about 5 years ago, a group of us in the biorisk management arena got together right after the Ebola outbreak, recognizing that we needed to do something more for that preparedness aspect for anything to do with infectious diseases.
Now, obviously, the NFL teams that you work with, high profile, and we're going to get to that. But the businesses and the people that call on you for that expertise, how many? I mean, your phone must have been ringing off the hook.
You know, so I do a lot in the industry over the years in quality management systems, biorisk management programs, and when the pandemic hit, John Barrett came to me and said, I know you have a vision for facility accreditation programs that you were going to launch next year. Can we do it now? Because we need it now. So we did. We launched it in May. Miami Dolphins were one of our first groups to come on board. And we now are in 81 countries around the world. We have several thousand institutions and facilities, and you name it. Every time I think that we, a type of what we call vertical has come forward, somebody else comes, like USA Triathlon, the Miami Dolphins. We're working with the NBA right now, Hyatt Hotels, American Airlines. I've just been amazed, humbled at the response and the ability to work with groups to try and get them to be able to reopen safely and confidently. So
when they call you, Patty, what do they call you for? What do they want from you?
They want a third-party validation. The accreditation program is really a third-party accreditation program that looks at three main things: cleaning, disinfection, and what we call infection prevention measures. Now, infection prevention measures can be a lot of different things. It can be your social distancing programs. It can be, are you going to be requiring masks? Are you going to be doing temperature screening? How are you putting those programs in place? Even to the, like we worked with the Dolphins on their HVAC issues and questions and concerns. So it just depends on the needs of the facility. And if we can't answer it directly, our member in our scientific advisory board has, you might say, tentacles out into the industry to be able to pull expertise in to be able to help in a lot of the situations that we're dealing with.
So obviously you have a lot of high profile clients. There's no question about that. I mean, I'm seeing things here like the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Dolphins, the Seahawks, the Chiefs, which really raises another question, which is, yeah, exactly. Why couldn't you do something with the Cowboys? Recommend they didn't play against my Vikings when they were. That one game is going to cost us the playoff. You know that. So when you look at giving advice to these teams, let's talk about the high-profile teams. How important is it, or would you even be able to use that accreditation if there was 50,000 fans in the stands? I'm a Viking season ticket holder, and so to even have an opportunity to go down. I mean, what would your recommendation be to any team if they wanted to fill the stands?
What we try and strive or stress is that the whole accreditation program is performance-based. And so what is it that you're trying to achieve, and what are the risks, and doing a risk assessment, and then looking at what kind of programs they need to put in place to mitigate that risk. And if you look at and I'll have to hand it off to like the NFL. If you look at the teams that have gone down this pathway and the different controls that they put in place, utilizing your phone basically for ordering food, making sure that when you have tickets that you're social distancing the groups that come together from other groups, understanding where they're parked. I don't remember which team it was, but they had somebody call and say, I now test positive, and they were able to do that contact tracing by all of the electronic systems that they have in place. The other thing that I'm seeing with a lot of the sports teams, well, two things. One is they're looking at technologies. They put in place programs that work, but then they also are looking at the new technologies and how they can utilize some of these new technologies that are coming down. The one that gets me is like escalator handrails and UVC light, and then being able to validate if it actually works. And then the other thing is that they understand the true, I would say, definition of team. And what I mean by that is they recognize that if one team can't play, that takes the whole season down. So they work together to ensure that they can all open with confidence and safely.
Patty, I've had COVID, and members of my family have had COVID. And, the amount of time, my wife who didn't get it was basically quarantined the longest because I had it, and then the house next to me where my brother lives had it. And so these were all at different time periods. But my wife couldn't leave the area under quarantine. She was under quarantine for 20-some days. So let me ask you this. I'm going to use Adam Thielen as an example. I know that the Minnesota Vikings aren't your client, but I like talking about him a lot. So Adam Thielen, one of the top wideouts for the Vikings, is put under quarantine. He wasn't able to play on Sunday. And it seems to me that a lot of these players are back by the next Sunday. So what's happening there? If Sue's locked up for 20 days, what about the Adam Thielens of the world?
Well, I think what's happening now is that, it's going to come down to that medical doctor evaluation and what type of testing they have available to them. If they're able to determine whether or not he actually has been exposed or, through that testing. And, I can hand it off to the MD here, that this is really that MD determination of is he a potential threat or not.
Okay. Well, Patty, I'll tell you this, in a little bit of time I have left, you and others like you that have worked so hard to make this happen have given me the only normal thing in the fall. And I said this about Major League Baseball as well, which obviously you had clients there, but thank you, Patty. I don't know what I would have done this fall all locked up without football. So I appreciate it.
Not a problem. I'm enjoying watching them as well.
Okay, what happens to the Trump Republicans now that they lost this election? Where do they go? What do they do? What do they take all that passion and put it to work on? We'll talk about it on Down the Road right after this.
I just went in for a regular mammogram, and I found out that I had a little tumor.
Through the exam and the biopsy, it was determined that I had cancer.
I got a call from one of my doctors that I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
After 5 years, they found a local reoccurrence.
The first thing you hear when you're told you have a cancer, it's a little daunting because you don't know where to go with it.
Since 1999, in a partnership between CHI St. Alexius Health and Sanford Health Bismarck, the Bismarck Cancer Center has provided the most advanced radiation therapies and holistic support services for cancer patients and their loved ones for 20 years.
I've been at the Bismarck Cancer Center since it started. I actually was in the basement of Med Center 1 before, when we had old machines and old equipment. And thankfully, the two hospitals at the time, St. Alexius and Med Center 1, joined forces to create the Bismarck Cancer Center.
I walk in the door, I get nothing but hugs, and I was marveled at them. I mean, I thought it was the best place in the world.
The staff is unbelievably compassionate, and they explain everything to you.
Everybody's genuinely concerned about your well-being, and the level of care is just top-notch. The Cancer Center just does such an amazing job of helping people.
To me and my family, the Cancer Center means life. It's given me the ability to live out my life with my family, my wife, my children, my grandchildren.
Because of them, I'm 2 years out, get to move on with my life, make a difference now for other people.
I would recommend this center because the minute you walk through that door, they've got your back.
This center means so much to me and to the people that are in this building, and we just want to keep giving it back to the community and providing for them what they need.
I'm Katie. I've been cancer-free for 2 years.
I'm Steve, and I've been cancer-free for 4 years.
I've been cancer-free for 10 years.
10 years.
11 years.
15 years.
My name is Lainey, and I've been cancer-free for 18 years.
Bismarck Cancer Center, your partner against cancer for 20 years.
Who do you trust with your digital life? Not all cloud backup providers keep your data truly private. Beck Cloud Backup uses advanced multi-layer encryption to keep your family photos, videos, and sensitive business documents secure and only for your eyes. Your Beck Lightband Internet service already includes 50 gigs of free storage to keep your digital life safe and secure. Call us at 701-475-2361 to start using your Beck Cloud Backup today.
Welcome back to Down the Road. Dr. Jeff Bumgardner is, well, Dr. Jeff is somebody that I count on a lot for expertise. He's one of those. He's a professor at NDSU, so if you don't show up, you're not going to get as good of a grade. And I'm here right now with him. Doc, good to have you going down the road with us.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having me on, Joel.
I wanted to talk to you, if I could, a little bit about all that passion that came out during Donald Trump's campaign. I said many times that this campaign for president wasn't about Joe Biden as much as what it was about Donald Trump. Did you want him for 4 more years? Did you not want him for 4 more years? The election was all about Donald Trump because he brings that kind of energy to a campaign. I mean, Doc, do you know anybody who can bring 30,000 people to a rally if he so chooses?
Not in recent history, not since we've been sort of paying attention. So that was impressive, and especially to be able to do so or bring these large crowds during a pandemic is even maybe more remarkable. No, a lot of intensity behind those crowds and being able to pull people out, no doubt about it.
And the reason that I wanted to talk to you about that, if I could, was this. Where does that energy go? I mean, you've got this great big ball of energy and people that will follow you into the gates of where, and you basically are in control of it. Donald Trump is in control of that. And I think that's what makes many of the Republicans in his party kind of toe the line to whatever he says. So, is he going to put that on a shelf somewhere? I mean, where does that energy go?
So there's actually a lot of debate going on right now, I think, in Republican circles about just what happens to that energy and how much of that does Donald Trump hold on to. Some people think he's the odds-on favorite for 2024. I'm not so sure about that, to be honest, Joel. I think that energy does go somewhere, but I think it's probably most effectively served as far as within the Republican Party if it gets passed on, to the next person. And so then it's a matter of finding somebody that can be just as energizing and maybe even has something of an imprimatur placed on them by Trump, but somebody who is not necessarily Trump himself. And again, that's not universally believed among Republicans or among anybody. But I kind of think that after this election is completely behind us, Trump kind of slips to the background a little bit.
You do believe that?
I do.
That's surprising to me because he does have that big of a control, and he also loves attention. So somebody told me that Donald Trump, by the time he runs again, which that person did believe that he would run again. By the time he runs again, he's going to be too old to run. And I looked at him, I said, he's going to be the same age that Joe Biden is now. So I don't see Americans saying that he's too old to run in basically 3 years when you'd start up that campaign again. Doctor?
Yeah. No, I think you're right about that. And as far as age goes, I think, everyone on all sides would say that Trump seems to have boundless energy, especially for his age. So I don't suspect that that's going to go away. I just wonder if Trump wouldn't see himself being more of a kingmaker in the future. Again, I could be completely wrong, but I think what we would find out, obviously he has a lot of energy, and take a crowd of 30,000 that comes to see Donald Trump. If you unpack that crowd a little bit, I think you see there's a lot more nuance in there than maybe what first appears. Some people are there just rallying against the establishment, against the media. Some people there are clearly rallying for Donald Trump. Some people are rallying, for their Republican causes and just want to stick it to all the people that would tell them that they shouldn't rally for such a person, right? I mean, I think there is some nuance among Trump supporters that could start to sort of disassemble a little bit as we get on the other side of the election, and some of that energy will certainly still be loyal to Trump among some voters, maybe a lot of voters, but I think quite a bit of it quite a few of those voters are going to start looking for other places to target or direct that energy, and that'll be aided further by conservative media, right? If somebody else kind of rises up to become a little bit of a darling of conservative media, say a Nikki Haley or somebody like that could get people excited. If she can get people excited, if she's in that mold, I don't know. But I could see a real shift in attention among Republican voters to this new person.
I go back to your comments about the kingmaker and my belief that Donald Trump, first and foremost, is somebody that's never passed a mirror. I mean, this guy likes Donald Trump. And so if you're going to be a kingmaker and you're all about Donald Trump, or at least that Trump brand, could the prince that's waiting to be the king then be Donald Jr.?
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. That's actually a terrific question, Joel. I had not thought about other family members. Donald Jr. is certainly popular with the Trump base, and that would satisfy any concerns about age. He's super articulate, no doubt about it. He's very effective at arguing and making his case and being in front of the public. That's actually a rather intriguing idea, and possibly others in the family are equally compelling. An Ivanka Trump, for example, could be, could deliver on some of those same things. So kudos to you, Joel, for thinking of that, because I hadn't thought of that.
Well, I heard him speak. I was in the audience one time when he spoke. And I think people that would underestimate him and his political skills would be doing just that. They'd be underestimating. Now, I want to talk to you about Georgia, if I could. The president now saying that he will go down to Georgia and campaign for the two Republican candidates for the United States Senate. Is that a good move?
That's a great question to ask. I've thought about that myself. Conventional wisdom says, of course, he should go down there. But Trump lost Georgia. So it's not entirely clear that is a good move. It may well energize and galvanize, Democratic voters to turn out. I think it's going to be a coin flip as to whether that helps or hurts. But clearly, Loeffler and Perdue want him to come down, and their goal, of course, is not so much to reach the people that are undecided, but really to energize their existing supporters to come out in the first week of January when no one else is paying attention. And in that regard, I think Trump probably does help because again, among their supporters, there's sort of a commingling, of course, of Trump supporters. And so if Trump could energize those same people that voted for him to come out in large numbers, that would be probably a good thing for them. But again, Trump is also energizes the opposition, and gives them something to point to, a foil to point at, and to fight against. So it honestly could be a wash. Everyone is saying, of course he should, and isn't that great news for the Republicans that he is? And your question goes exactly to what I thought when I heard he was willing to do that, and that is, is that a good idea? Not sure.
Well, and it also plays into this. Donald Trump doesn't like to lose. He's going around now and saying that the election was rigged when I think all the evidence, even from the Republican side, shows that the election wasn't rigged. You can fire all the people you want. At some point, they're going to go on 60 Minutes, as we saw last night, and say, you know what? I got hired as a Republican to come in and do a job. We did a job. We did it well. The election wasn't rigged. The results are real. So I get that. I understand that. And Donald Trump, again, all about self-marketing, all about making sure that his brand, his take is heard the most. That being said, because he doesn't like losing, I'm curious how he's going to react to Georgia. Because Georgia is one of those states that, as you pointed out, went to Joe Biden. And many times on the campaign trail, he said to states, if I don't win this state, I probably won't come back. Of course, some of that in joking, but I'm not sure Donald Trump jokes as much as what people think. How will he react to Georgia?
Yeah, well, if he goes down there and campaigns and one or both of those Republican senators lose, I think that, that right there could answer a question about Donald Trump's future, because then his influential powers are going to be, certainly called into question if he can't win in red Georgia. Georgia's not North Carolina yet. It's not Virginia yet. He should be able to have won Georgia, and these Republican senators should be able to keep their seats in Georgia. And so if it goes the other way, then we have to reimagine what we think about Georgia politically, but also we certainly have to reevaluate Donald Trump's staying power and influencing power at that point. But he would not take losing those senators very well.
I know we only have about 30 seconds left to go, but Dr. Jeff, do you ever, or will you ever again, believe in polls, believe in pollsters?
Yeah. So some of the polls were right about some of the things. I still think polling can be certainly helpful, but you're right. It's going to take an election or two of accurate polling before many of us sort of go all in on what the polls are going to predict.
I will tell you this. People love taking your class. We love getting you on all the media we continue to ask you on, because you put it in common sense terms. Where you're spot on, right, is that if he goes down to Georgia, if Trump goes down to Georgia, and one of those senators wins, one of those Democratic senators win, I think he doesn't come away with as much power as he had before. But I wouldn't bet on that happening. So, Doctor, good to have you going down the road with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Joel.
You bet. We got a lot of things left to talk about, not the least of which is some of the issues when it comes to COVID. I want to talk to you about the vaccine at some point during today's conversation. Will you take it? The only question they're going to ask me is whether or not I want it in the arm or whether or not I want it in the butt, because either way, I'm going to take it. I'm really curious whether or not you are. We'll talk about that and many other things when we come back down the road.
Bismarck Central, 4800.
4800, go ahead.
Requesting social services on-call team.
Stand by. 4800 social services requesting additional information.
You can advise social services that we have an 18-month-old female who was in a residence with a mother, now being transported to medical care for overdose.
Trusting your digital life to faceless tech giants can be risky. Will they keep your family and business information truly safe from prying eyes? If you subscribe to local Beck Lightband internet service, you already have Beck Cloud Backup. Beck Cloud Backup is the safest, most private cloud storage for all your family memories, schoolwork, and business documents. Call 701-475-2361 to start using your free space on Beck Cloud Backup today.
You just might find the home of your dreams this weekend by watching the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes Sundays at 6 p.m. and Wednesdays at 7 on Beck, featuring properties from Bismarck, Mandan, Minot, and surrounding areas. The Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes presents desirable properties that are for sale, lets you meet your Alliance realtors, and provides critical insights into local happenings from community and business leaders. Join us this Sunday evening at 6 or Wednesday at 7 for the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes on Beck.
Today's households have more digital devices than ever before. More links to family, business, education, and entertainment. Beck Communications spent over 10 years building North Dakota's fastest fiber optic internet service. Beck Lightband Internet, outpacing speeds in large cities nationwide. Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
Howdy folks, it's the County Line Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Bussin' breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at a salad bar, sink your teeth into our famous County Line burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spur rattling pie with a calm roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
This is going to be a real opportunity to talk to one of those health officials that's, as I put it, out there on the front line, having to make hard decisions, having to do what many people would be saying to themselves, why in the heck would I do it? Well, Molly Howell's going to join us in a bit. We're going to get a chance to visit her with her. She's with the North Dakota Department of Health and in charge of immunization. Before the break, I talked to you a little bit about, would you take the shot? I've had COVID, and I will tell you this, I'll take the shot tomorrow. Now, I'm not going to be high on their list of people to give the shot to in the beginning, and I shouldn't be. I absolutely shouldn't be. My mother-in-law, sitting in her apartment in an elderly facility, or how do I want to describe that, community at Touchmark here in Fargo, she should be one of the first ones to get a shot. I mean, she should, and the Mollys of the world know that as they go about making some of these tough decisions. The big question is, what happens when people don't take the shot? What effect do they have on other people when they don't take the shot? How big of an issue is it in schools, in the workplace, in every place that we go to when they choose not to take the shot? I've got a couple of coworkers. I do. I've got a couple of coworkers where, you know, they're sitting there and they believe that they know better, as though they're some type of scientist, as though they're some type of Molly Howell. They're individuals that don't believe they should take the shot because of the risk it brings on to themselves, as though there wasn't some type of trials and the Food and Drug Administration and the Center for Disease Control weren't involved in all of this. So I don't get it. I don't understand it. And quite frankly, I don't like the fact that they're not willing to do it. Think about these young people, ladies and gentlemen. Think about these people that won't get immunized when they were young. Think about them when they went to kindergarten. And the school said, do you have their charts? Can you show me that they've had their shots? That was one of the first things you got asked. You had to do it. You absolutely had to do it. Now, these same people who won't get immunized, struggling with the word today, these same individuals are the same individuals that don't want polio, right? They got the shot. I don't get it. I don't understand it. What I do know is this. What I absolutely know is this, that they help all of us when they do. Dr. Fauci said, and this was something that stuck with me, what he said. He said, you know what, folks? The cavalry is coming. But until then, don't quit shooting. Don't quit shooting. Hang in there. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a train. In fact, we've had different companies ask for early approval. And you know what? Within a couple weeks here, we're going to start seeing individuals immunized. We're going to start seeing individuals going forward and individuals that should be. Now, I don't know what Molly's going to say about this. What I do know is it isn't hard to imagine the fact that we want frontline healthcare workers. That's who one group is we have to focus on. We want the elderly, those individuals that are most susceptible to this disease. We want people that can pay the ultimate price for it. I said this earlier in my show. I said that I've lost one friend in the last 5 days to this dreaded disease. I've got another that's laying in a hospital bed fighting to stay alive. Now, I don't know what these two people's pre-existing conditions are. I don't know. What I do know is this. If it wasn't for COVID, one of them would be alive today and the other one wouldn't be in the hospital on a ventilator. I know that. That much I know. So imagine if they were immunized. Imagine that. Imagine if these individuals got the shot, or at least had the opportunity, I should say, to get the shot. Imagine what a better place they would be in this world. They'd be in a much better place. And so there's tough calls to be made. There's a distribution that is out there that people are going to say, okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to make it work? Physically, what do we do? Earlier in the show, we spoke to public health. Obviously, that's going to be a conduit. Earlier in the show, we talked about, in terms of large crowds, what's going to happen and whether or not we're going to get freed up to go to that NFL game or freed up to go to that UND or NDSU basketball game. I mean, we're going to have a lot of different things that are going to happen in terms of questions that are going to be asked. How's it going to work? Where's it going to go? I don't know the answer to that. I don't. I know this, that there's been enough time for the individuals to work at it. And so I'm going to trust them. They've been fighting for and asking for this vaccine for quite some time. So to think that the North Dakota Health Department has been sitting there idle, wondering about what they're going to do to distribute this vaccine, I think that's being incredibly naive. They've got a plan in place. They know what they're going to do, and they're going to administer it. Now, the other part, I talked about the individuals that wouldn't take the vaccine. They wouldn't take the shot. There's another side to that. There are going to be individuals that are going to be fighting to be on that list, to be the individuals that are vaccinated first. They're going to be the individuals, excuse me, I dropped something. They're going to be the individuals that everybody fights to say, okay, I want the vaccine quicker. I want myself to be at the top of that list. I think you have to trust the North Dakota Health Department to know why you're not at the top of that list. There's reasons that you're not going to be at the top of that list. And unfortunately for all of us, it's going to be because somebody else is more important. It is. They're more susceptible. They're more needed right now in the professional workplace. I'll give you an example. I do a TV show. You can see that. I do a radio show. I was able to do my radio show from home for most of the days that I was infected with COVID. I was able to do my radio show from home. Now, 3 or 4 of those days when I was sicker than a dog, obviously I couldn't do my radio show. But the point is, if you're a frontline nurse, if you're a frontline healthcare provider, you can't do what I did. You can't. You need to be there. You need to be in that health facility And you need to be one of those individuals that everybody counts on to do their job. Now, put this in the perspective of a teacher as well. Imagine being a teacher. Imagine being a teacher where you know that those students are going to do better in the classroom. I mean, you know it. Distance learning is not providing the same results as learning in that classroom. For some, yes, because quite frankly, they're bright enough where they're going to succeed whatever place you put them in, but not for all. Not for all, not for that student that is struggling, not for that student that is sitting there wondering every day how they can get by with not paying attention in class or how they can cause trouble in class. Well, now all they got to do is be at home, right? I know one individual in particular, and I'm not going to say names, that loves distance learning, because the next thing you know, he can grab a hockey stick and go out and have a good time with it and say everything's fine, everything's great, everything's equal. It's not. We're not going to be able to tie in with Molly today, and that's not her fault. It's technical issues. It is. We'll get her another time. We'll get a chance to visit with Molly about how that distribution is going to work and what the North Dakota Health Department did to make sure they were ready for it. I'm going to have some closing comments for you when we come back right here on Down the Road. So stick around. We're going to have some fun.
He once won a spelling bee in an ancient language that he did not speak. He is the only man to ever earn extra credit on an IQ exam. His academic degrees are considered legitimate spending currency in 22 nations, 2 principalities, and at Chick-fil-A restaurants in the United States and Western Canada.
I do not always engage with education programming, but when I do, it is the Dr. Duke Show.
Stay educated with the Dr. Duke Show, weekdays at 4 p.m. on Beck News.
Introducing Accord Comfort Sleep Systems, a better way to sleep. We offer you 5 different models to give you the perfect choice of support and body comfort. Every model begins with our exclusive Accord Comfort Reflex Layer. This ensures proper spinal alignment and a deep down body relief. Our 8-inch Whisper Breeze provides a medium firm feel, and our 10-inch Gentle Night model has a quilted top, giving you a medium plush comfort. Both use Outlast fabric on the top of your mattress, ensuring that your body temperature is not too hot and not too cold. Our Copper Rest Sleep Series is our premier mattress, offering your choice of firm, plush, and luxury plush. Every model uses copper-infused gel latex and provides all the health benefits of copper. Accord Comfort mattresses are handcrafted in the USA and come with a 60-night sleep guarantee. You're going to love sleeping with us. Order today exclusively at AccordSleep.com or Tom's Home Furnishings in beautiful downtown Harvey.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran-owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at CapitalCityRestaurantSupply.com.
My name is Rich Shook, and I lost my best friend in a grain bin accident.
Some of the emotional scars that when these incidences happen just resonates throughout the community like dropping a rock in a pond. I guess I'll never forget. At least the last moments we shared. That's why I think this is so important to get out there to people, is people think that it can't happen to you, and it can. The time it would take you to just kiss a loved one and your life is over. I believe it's unacceptable.
This message provided by North Dakota Farmers Union.
You know, it's always good going down the road with you. One of the subjects that we heard from Dr. Jeff earlier in the show was, what does Donald Trump do now? I mean, he's got to pack up the bags. He's going to have to leave the White House, and that helicopter and that presidential plane apparently are going to head towards Florida. He's going to call that home. He's mad at New York. And quite frankly, there's some charges pending in New York that won't be resolved by statute of limitations that he would have had the privilege of enjoying had he served as president for 8 years rather than 4 years. But what does he do? What does he do with all of that energy that he has out there? Many of the people that are viewing this show right now are Trump supporters. The numbers show in North Dakota, we are one of the most red states in the union. So for you, the individual whose passion he brings out, you're already talking about, is he going to run again in 4 years? You know, Dr. Jeff said he doesn't think he is. I think he is. I think he starts running right away again. He might give it till summer. And then you're going to see the tweets. You're going to see the tweets out there about what a job Joe Biden is doing, how he stinks at the job, how the election was stolen. He's going to talk about, hey, when we had this, don't give Joe credit for the vaccine. I mean, all of that's going to come out. He's going to start talking about deficit, even though he ran one of the biggest spending sprees in all of the nation, in all of history. The man could spend money, and he left a heck of a bar tab for a lot of us to pick up. That being said, he's not going away. He's not going to go away. And if you asked him tomorrow, if he said he isn't running again in 2024, who his lead candidate was, he'd say Donald Jr. He would. He's looking at himself as though he's George H.W. Bush now, and George W. Bush is waiting in the wings. And don't kid yourself. If Donald Trump wants Don Jr. to have a real shot at that nomination, he can make it happen. I also want to point out, over the weekend, I went out, shot pheasants with some buddies, had an absolutely great time. The weather has been great this fall, hasn't it? I mean, haven't you had a good time? If you've gotten out of the house. That's right. You need to get out there. You need to get after it. May not be hunting for you. Maybe just a walk. Maybe just heading down that nature trail. My daughter did that over the weekend. She took her kids to Little Yellowstone. They had a blast. But I will tell you this. When you get out of the house, your attitude changes. Might just be putting up Christmas lights. I don't know. But go out there and put on a stocking hat, get your gloves on, and find a way to enjoy the great North Dakota outdoors. So until the next time, it's always good riding with you, folks. Take care.